you might not realize it, but if you're going through a difficult time right now, what you need more than money, more than food, more than water, are stories. Now, it could be that, like me, the stories you were told about your life or about your ancestors were that you came from slavery and indentured servitude, and that's what's in your history, right? Or maybe also, like me, you could see the stories of where you came from around you in lives of quiet desperation lived by your parents or your family, or maybe it was outright chaos and destruction like I grew up in. One thing we know about humans is that we are resilient, and we create our lives based on the stories that we believe about ourselves. Now, I know for me in the past, my story when I was at my most low points, which was at the time when I needed, the most inspiration, but when I would be down and low, the story that I would tell myself is, this is what I deserve. This is all I can ask for because of where I come from, right? So I was born into a single parent home. My mother was mentally ill, neglectful, abusive. My father, he was just there to hit it and quit it. And so, he was gone, and we grew up on welfare, so we were poor. Now, I actually have had a pretty mystical and interesting and amazing life so far. I got a lot of lucky breaks. I have a lot of luck in life, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit. But when I would be down on myself, I would think, well, I'm just cursed in life. I was born disadvantaged. I didn't have a shot from the beginning. But then something kind of mystical happened for me this past Father's Day. This past Father's Day, I was really coming into some new energies. Something was going on inside of my body that I had been really kind of working up to through my process of self-hypnosis and through my practice of being in nature and communing with nature. And Father's Day was always either something that I just kind of didn't pay attention to and tried to ignore, or I would feel a little bit bad, right? I've talked about this in previous videos. Growing up without a father, it can be a real soul-destroying thing that lasts for a person's entire life, that you really have to develop character and discipline and empathy for yourself to overcome. But this Father's Day, I was out on the farm by myself. My husband was gone, and I was caring for the animals, and I was out in nature, and I noticed that something had changed. There was an awareness in nature, and I started getting these kind of profound realizations. And one of them was just a sudden tweak in my mind where I was like, there have to have been strong, intelligent, kind, hardworking, committed, respectable men in my ancestry for me to even be alive, right? Because I was just thinking about, recent, like my father or the men that my mother messed around with, right? But I was like, no, for me to even be alive today, there were people who had to sacrifice something, who had to protect something, who had to stay alive somehow. I've always thought of God or the universe as my father growing up, but then something else kind of came into my awareness, like, yeah, I am supported in ways that I maybe can't understand. Now, I think I was born into karmic luck, right? Like I said, I've been died and revived 3 times in my life. There was always someone there to save me. This is funny. I have had a lifelong fear of not being able to pay rent. Because as a kid, my mother used to take me to the rental office with her, and she would be trying to wheel and deal with the rental office. So it kind of got in my mind like, oh, I can't pay rent. And I realized I've never, not once in my entire life of living on my own since I was 16, not been able to pay my rent. And I've had a number of lucky breaks, which I'm actually talking about in my new audiobook that is out today. People generally meet me and like me. Children see me and smile at me. Animals trust me. I believe that if you have blessings in life like this, that I didn't really do much to deserve this. I've been like that since I was a kid. I feel like they can be transferred throughout history, throughout time. And when I had that beautiful Father's Day where I was like, wow, I am supported by the energy of the father and by the energy of the strong men in my lineage that I probably don't know about, I had, that Father's Day was an amazing day. And this is what you'll find about life, once you accept certain realities that you couldn't accept before, the world will rearrange around you to prove that it's true. So within a few weeks, I ended up getting an email from a relative that I had never heard of or met before. And she said, I was thinking about your mother's side of the family. I tried looking you guys up. I found your videos. I am blown away. I have to tell you, you are the spitting image of your great-grandfather. And so she started telling me about how, he was a pharmacist, and how he was the editor of this major newspaper, and how he made natural concoctions for sale under Rams, right? Because Ramcharan last name, he was called Rams Products. And she said that he would also, he sold them, but he would also give them to the poor who needed help. So he was a great man, and she was telling me that you remind me of him, and she's like, I'm so happy to see that in you. And I had never heard of this person before, okay? And this was at a time when I was feeling down. I was going through the concept of divorce, right? So I had had an experience of being involved in an extended family, of having a family in my life, and here I was, I'm like, I'm gonna have to lose all of this. I really needed to dial in my own strength and my own support. So it came at the perfect time. Really helped me start changing my image of myself, right? So instead of being a person who was born cursed and disadvantaged and didn't even have a shot before I even came out of the womb, I was in trouble. I started seeing myself as a cycle breaker, as the answer to my ancestors' prayers. I started seeing myself as someone who God had placed into this world under this perfect set of circumstances to be the exact person who's needed on earth during this time. Right? I've been awake to all of this stuff that's going on since elementary school. I've talked about this in previous videos. You guys have been seeing my videos. I've been on YouTube for 10 years. I have been talking about things that people are just talking about now, okay? So if you think that the war just started recently, if you think that the pandemic happened 2 years ago, you don't know the whole picture. This has been going on for a while. It's just becoming visible to people now. Now more than ever, it's important to be on your game, to know who you are, to know the story of your life. Write it for yourself. Don't believe the stories that you learned about your history in schools. A lot of it is flat out lies. Look now, right? We've got social media, we've got video cameras, and you can see that one side of a story tells one picture and the other side tells another picture. And if you're born in North America, you've been getting one picture your whole life, one side of the story your whole life. It's a story that will keep you down, that will try to oppress you and make you feel that your life has no point and no purpose, so that you give up, you join the system, you become a cog, a wheel in the system, a battery. I have a video I'm going to link about how to enter into a new reality. This is changing your mind, changing your brain, which will ultimately change your reality, right? Wayne Dyer, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That is meant literally, believe me, that's the life I'm living right now. So your ancestors need you right now, right? I'm drawing on the strength, and my strength was renewed by hearing by my great-grandfather. Think of the people in your lineage down the line from now, right? There's going to be somebody in the future. You guys know that I'm child-free. That's my personal choice and belief. But down the line, there's going to be someone who's going to hear, you had a cousin, or you had a great aunt, or whatever it was. And during the war, she was one of the people who did not fall for any of it. She went out in nature every day and healed herself. She moved to Mexico and took up martial arts. She learned how to surf. She lived the most beautiful life during a time when people told her it was impossible. And that child's going to take that idea and it's going to bloom like a seed and continue something beautiful out in the world, even after we're long gone. Shapes in the stars, drawings on cave walls. Humans need stories, something that says, I was here and something that says, and this is where I'm going. So the beauty about life is that we get to write our own stories. For me, in my lineage, I look at photos of people, my great grandparents and stuff, and they all just look miserable, right? They look unhealthy, they have unhealthy bodies, and they look miserable. So for me, I am here to dance, to sing, to have fun. When I am dancing in my apartment in Mexico at 6 a.m. in the morning to the Baltimore remix of Tarzan Boy with headphones on, I am changing my destiny. I am changing my reality. I am filled with enthusiasm for life. Do you know what the root of the word enthusiasm is? It's a Greek word. It means to be possessed by God. Stay away from the people that want to kill your enthusiasm, that want to mock your enthusiasm. Stay away, get away, do whatever you have to do to get away. Believe me, you have a duty to live a beautiful life. I was given a dream when I first came here. And in the dream, I was told that it's my duty, my sacred duty, to get through this time. I was ready to give up. So if you are feeling at a dead end, or you are feeling like you're ready to give up, now is the time to write a new story. I am calling on you to live your life well, to live with beauty. Oh, and also to buy my audiobook. It's out now. Link is below. It's in the Too Hot for YouTube section of my website. A lot of you have been curious about racial things when it comes to me. Have I experienced racism? Why do I seem different? What is my racial makeup? Is my husband white? Do you guys want to know all of these things? I answered them all in this audiobook. It's meant to enlighten you and to free you from the shackles of your mind. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please click the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again soon.